Bajoran Commander Draco's smug grin turned to a look of shock as the chained human captive he was interrogating on his warship suddenly broke the restraints, grabbed a jagged metal shard, and lunged straight for Draco's throat. The kidnapped human colonists fought their Bajoran captors tooth and nail, driven by pure rage after watching their friends and families gunned down in the violent settlement raids. Elite human soldier Jason Carter and his unit had arrived too late to stop the abductions, including Jason's own brother, a civilian engineer. Draco barely escaped the murderous human prisoner. He had hoped capturing colonists would give him leverage against the expanding Earth government. But as reports flooded in of the human captives attacking guards, sabotaging systems, and even killing themselves rather than submitting, Draco realized he had made a grave error. These humans would never negotiate or surrender. Confirmation came when Draco's sensors detected a massive human invasion fleet entering Bajoran space. The Earth Council had voted unanimously. No compromises, no diplomacy. The kidnappers would be annihilated with extreme prejudice. Rescue the hostages at any cost. Jason's unit was the tip of the spear, eager to unleash vengeance and save his brother. He gripped his rifle tight as drop pods fell toward the enemy stronghold. The Bajorans had picked the wrong species to mess with. No mercy. As the human fleet closed in, Draco felt the first twinges of fear, watching the approaching firestorm that spelled his doom. When the killing started, he almost welcomed the release of death, knowing it was better than what the humans would do to him if he was captured alive. The human philosophy was simple. You reap what you sow. The human armada tore through Bajoran space, a shimmering cloud of rippling metal against the starry void. Overflowing with weapons and brimming with vengeful commitment, the gargantuan Earth warships descended upon the enemy homeworld like avenging angels. In the vanguard flew Jason Carter's strike team, their sleek assault craft arrowing toward the capital city. Jason gripped the controls tightly, his eyes sharp. Somewhere down there, his brother and the other hostages were waiting, praying for salvation. The team punched through the planet's atmosphere in a blazing fireball. Anti-aircraft fire streaked past them, but Jason juked and jinked, evading the flak bursts. Other friendly craft weren't so lucky. Several bloomed into short-lived suns, spilling molten debris. 6 clicks to target, Jason's co-pilot Evans reported, highlighting the prison compound on the HUD. Weapons fire from the entrenched Bajorans ripped into the human dropships as they screamed over the city's gleaming spires. 2 went down, belching smoke and flame. Jason's teeth rattled as his ship shuddered under a near miss. Extend landing gear. Touchdown on my mark. The scorched, battered craft flared over the landing zone. The instant the skids hit Plascrete, Jason was moving. Go, go, go! He leapt down the ramp in full combat armor, pulse rifle up and scanning. Return fire whined off his kinetic barriers. Evans lobbed a plasma grenade. The detonation scythed down a trio of Bajorans in searing blue light. Then they were in among the buildings, hunting the hostages. A firefight erupted in the courtyard ahead, strobing the gloom red. Watch the crossfire, Jason warned as human commandos traded shots with the enemy. Bajoran bodies crumpled. Just then, Jason's quantum comms crackled with an emergency broadcast. All ground forces, this is Admiral Singh, a grim voice said. Bajoran commander threatening to kill hostages if we don't withdraw immediately. I say again, hostages in immediate danger. Cold fear gripped Jason's heart. He thought of his brother, a gun to his head. Double time it, go, Jason barked. They had to reach the compound, had to save the captives before the Bajorans made good on their sick ultimatum. The humans blew the heavy prison doors with breaching charges. The thunder of boots on metal decking filled the air as Marines and commandos stormed inside, quickly putting down the scattered guards. Over here, someone shouted. Jason sprinted over, pulse pounding. There, blinking in the sudden light, were the haggard, traumatized hostages. He scanned their faces frantically. There. David! Jason cried, holstering his rifle. He embraced his brother tightly as David sobbed into his shoulder. I knew you'd come, he choked out. I knew. Tears stung Jason's eyes. They'd done it. They'd saved the captives. But the entire compound suddenly rocked with titanic explosions. Dust sifted down from the ceiling, alarms shrieking. "All ships! Bajoran fleet is engaging!" Singh's voice crackled over the din. "Repeat, we are under heavy fire!" Jason's gut clenched. He patched into orbital imagery. The Earth Armada and Bajoran warships were locked in a writhing, seething maelstrom of destruction. Railgun rounds, missiles, and directed energy beams crisscrossed the void in a web of annihilation. At the heart of the furball was Draco's flagship, unleashing blistering broadsides as its escorts erupted into plumes of venting gas one by one. It was a brutal slugfest, but the advanced human craft were tearing the enemy apart. As if in slow motion, Jason watched the Bajoran fleet dissolve under the onslaught, their hulls splitting open, spilling gouts of flaming atmosphere. It was numbingly violent, but part of Jason felt only grim satisfaction. Reap what you sow. He turned to his brother and the other shaken hostages. "It's going to be okay," he promised. "I'm getting you out of here. All of you." Under his breath, Jason swore a cold oath. "There would be a reckoning for this outrage, Draco. Before this day ends, you will pay for what you've done. There will be no mercy, only vengeance." The dust had barely settled on the Bajoran conflict when Jason found himself summoned to Earth Command. He stood at rigid attention before a panel of grim-faced generals, their uniforms gleaming with medals. "At ease, Captain Carter," said Admiral Singh. "Your actions on Bajor were exemplary, but I'm afraid there's no time to rest on our laurels." A holographic star map flickered to life, highlighting vast swathes of alien-controlled space. "Intelligence confirms multiple species are closely monitoring our response to the Bajoran incident," Singh continued, "some with trepidation, others with less savory intentions." Jason's fists clenched. "So what's our move, sir?" "Operation Hydra," Singh replied, tapping controls to zoom in on specific sectors. "A multi-pronged offensive to secure humanity's dominance once and for all." Jason's eyes widened as he absorbed the sheer scope of the planned assault. Entire alien empires were marked for subjugation. "Your team will spearhead our strike against the Zanari," Singh said. "You leave in 6 hours." The next days passed in a blur of preparation and transit. Before he knew it, Jason found himself peering through the view screen of a stealth insertion craft, the Zanari homeworld looming large. 30 seconds to atmosphere," his pilot announced. Jason checked his team's readiness one final time. "Remember," he said, "we disable their defense grid, then the main fleet jumps in. No mistakes." They slipped past orbital defenses like ghosts, touching down silently near a sprawling military complex. Jason's team moved with practiced efficiency, planting charges on key power nodes and communication relays. An alarm blared, cut short as Jason's combat knife found the throat of a reptilian guard. "Charges set," Evans reported. "Ready to blow on your mark." Jason keyed his comm. "Strike force actual to fleet command. We are go for primary assault." "Acknowledged," came the terse reply. "Commencing jump in 3, 2, 1. Jason triggered the charges. The Zanari capital plunged into darkness as their defense grid went offline. Moments later, the sky lit up with the arrival of hundreds of human warships, their weapons already firing. The Zanari scrambled to respond, but it was too late. Their vaunted fleet, caught unprepared, was torn to shreds by precise human fire. Jason watched from the ground as Zanari cruisers were gutted, escape pods jettisoning in droves. But Jason's job wasn't done. While the space battle raged, his team infiltrated deeper into enemy territory. Their target, the Zanari Council of Primes. They fought their way through layers of security, Jason's rifle spitting death at any Zanari foolish enough to stand in their way. Finally, they reached the council chambers. "Hands where we can see them," Jason shouted, bursting through the doors. The reptilian counselors froze, caught completely off guard. Within hours, the defeated Zanari leadership was brought before human commanders. Jason stood watch as they signed away their sovereignty, trading their empire for the promise of limited autonomy under Earth's rule. As Jason's team rested after the operation, reports flooded in of similar victories across the galaxy. Alien empires crumbled before humanity's onslaught, unable to match Earth's technological edge and sheer commitment. Fear spread faster than light, and system after system surrendered without a fight. The age of human dominance had begun. Jason Carter stood at rigid attention as Admiral Singh's hologram flickered before him. "Captain, new orders from High Command. Priority Alpha." Jason's pulse quickened. "Sir?" "The Galarian Confederacy. Over 100 systems, advanced tech. They've been laughing at our conquests. Time to wipe the smirk off their faces." "Understood, Admiral. My team is ready." "Good. You'll spearhead the assault. Make it hurt, Captain." The transmission cut out. Jason turned to his gathered strike force. "All right, people. Listen up. We're taking down the Galarians. Prep for immediate deployment." Hours later, Jason's stealth dropship plummeted through the atmosphere of a Galarian border world. Plasma flares licked the hull as they screamed towards the surface. 30 seconds, the pilot called. Jason gripped his rifle tight. "Remember the plan. We hit their command center, disable their defenses, open the door for our fleet." The instant they touched down, Jason was moving. His team fanned out, utilizing cloaking tech to slip past Galarian patrols. They reached the planet's primary defense control hub undetected. "Charges set," Evans reported over the comm, "ready to blow this place sky high." "Do it!" Jason ordered. The explosion rocked the entire facility. Alarms blared as panicked Galarians scrambled to respond. But it was too late. Jason's team fought their way through the chaos, neutralizing resistance with brutal efficiency. They reached the central control room and Jason got to work, fingers flying over alien consoles. "Defense grid coming down, it's now," he announced. Right on cue, the sky lit up. Hundreds of human warships dropped out of FTL, weapons already firing. The Galarian fleet, caught completely off guard, didn't stand a chance. As Jason watched the orbital battle unfold from the ground, his comms crackled. "This is Admiral Singh. Well done, Captain. 1 system down. 99 to go." The onslaught continued. World after world fell as humanity's war machine rolled inexorably forward. The Galarians fought back fiercely, but their vaunted technology proved no match for Earth's overwhelming numbers and sheer ferocity. Months later, Jason found himself on Galeria Prime itself. The planet's surface was scarred and blackened from orbital bombardment. He linked up with Draco, now Supreme Commander of the Elite Vanquishers. "The Galarian leadership is holed up in an underground bunker," Draco briefed him. "We're going in to drag them out." They plummeted from low orbit in drop pods, smashing directly into the fortified complex. The instant the doors blew open, it was all-out war. Jason ducked as plasma fire sizzled overhead. He lobbed a grenade down the corridor, the blast shredding a squad of Galarian guards. They fought room to room, refusing to let up. Finally, they reached the main chamber. The doors exploded inward, and Jason charged through the smoke. When it cleared, he saw the Galarian Grand Admirals, their alien faces twisted in shock and fear. Draco strode forward. "Your surrender. Now." The lead admiral snarled. "What are your terms, human?" "There are no terms," Draco replied coldly. "Only your complete, unconditional surrender." In the days that followed, Draco presided over public trials of the captured leaders. Jason watched as they were paraded before their conquered people, living examples of the price of defiance. As news of the Galarian defeat spread, Jason knew the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity's dominance was undeniable now, and they were only getting started. Jason stood on the bridge of the Vanquisher flagship, staring out at the ravaged Malachi homeworld. The once vibrant planet now glowed an angry red, its surface reduced to bubbling magma and toxic ash. He felt a sudden wave of nausea. "Magnificent, isn't it?" Draco's voice cut through his thoughts. "Another empire brought to heel." Jason turned to face his commander, forcing his features into a neutral mask. "Yes, sir. The Nova bombs were effective. Draco's eyes gleamed with a fervor that made Jason's skin crawl. Effective? They were glorious. Did you see how their orbital defenses crumbled, with minimal resistance before a storm? A nearby officer interrupted. Supreme Commander, we've secured the Malachi leadership. They're ready for processing. Excellent. Carter, you're with me. Let's show our new subjects the price of defiance. They marched through the corridors of the captured Malachi fortress. The alien architecture, once sleek and imposing, now lay in ruins. Bodies of defenders littered the halls, their strange, multi-limbed forms twisted in death. They entered a vast chamber where the Malachi leaders huddled, surrounded by human troops. Jason studied their alien features, silvery skin, 4 arms, eyes that shimmered with an inner light. Now, those eyes were wide with terror. Draco strode forward, his voice booming. Your pathetic empire is no more. You will now serve humanity, or you will be erased from existence. The choice is yours. The lead Malachi, its ornate robes torn and stained, spoke in a wavering voice. We are an ancient race. We have weathered storms you cannot imagine. You cannot. A swift backhand from Draco sent the alien sprawling. I grow tired of your prattle. Carter, prepare them for transport. We'll make an example of these ones. As Jason moved to comply, he caught sight of his reflection in a shattered view screen. For a moment, he didn't recognize the hard-eyed soldier staring back at him. When had he become this thing? Hours later, Jason watched as Draco paraded the captured Malachi leaders through the smoldering ruins of their capital. Billions across human space watched the broadcast, cheering as each alien was forced to kneel in the ash of their world. Draco's voice rang out, cold and triumphant. Let this be a lesson to all who would defy humanity's destiny. We are the masters of this galaxy. Resist, and you will share the Malachi's fate. As the crowds roared their approval, Jason felt something twist inside him. He looked at the broken aliens, at the devastation surrounding them, and saw not victory, but an abyss. They had become the very thing they once fought against. Conquerors without mercy, destroyers of worlds. And as Draco's fleets prepared to push even further into the galaxy, Jason realized with growing horror that this was only the beginning. The hunger for dominance would never be sated. It would consume everything in its path, even Earth itself.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.